Zinedine Zidane touched the football with a rare elegance that very few human beings in history have ever matched. Pure elegance, his signature roulette move, turning the football pitch into a theater stage where football became choreography, a man who explained absolutely everything through technical perfection. And when he sat down face to face with Messi for an incredibly rare, intimate interview and had to define what the iconic number 10 role truly demands on the pitch, Zidane, the absolute most technical player of his entire generation, offered this profound thought. The number 10 position, when it comes down to it, must always possess a little bit of magic, just like you do. It needs that pure, inexplicable, beautiful magic. Let those words sink in for a moment, because they run much deeper than they seem. The ultimate footballer who solved every single crisis on the pitch with pure technique suddenly cannot find a technical way to explain Messi. Over the next few minutes, we are going to look very closely at three exact moments where Zidane, without even realizing what he was doing, he admitted something absolutely massive. Something that even he, with all of his incredible talent, could never actually pull off on a football pitch. But to truly grasp the weight of his words, you have to understand who is speaking here. Zidane is widely seen as one of the single greatest players to ever lace up boots in the history of the sport. He won a World Cup with France, conquered the Champions League with Real Madrid, scoring the most breathtaking volleyed goal in the history of the final, and serving as the undisputed leader of the iconic Galacticos era. And if that were not enough, he later returned as a manager to win 3 consecutive Champions League trophies with that very same club. We are talking about a legendary figure who watched the absolute best players on the planet pass right in front of his eyes. When someone of that immense stature stops just to admire another athlete on the pitch, he is not doing it out of simple politeness or some superficial professional courtesy. He does it because all of his deep tactical knowledge tells him he is witnessing something that completely defies the laws of logic. Because honestly, it is such a shame that we never got the chance to play together. You know that. But well, today is a moment for me to finally give you a pass. I have traveled a very long way, but it is an absolute honor and pleasure to be sitting here with you today. Well, first of all, it is an incredible pleasure for me as well, and you must know that I have nothing but admiration for you. We never had the luck of playing together. Yes, we faced each other a tiny bit, but at least we had that. And then, of course, later on, we had you as the manager and me still out there playing on the pitch. But there was always this deep, mutual respect and admiration, because I want to thank you for everything you did for the game, and for everything you still do. When two legendary minds of this massive caliber sit down and share words like these, you know this is not some superficial corporate PR stunt. We are witnessing a raw, genuine moment of profound recognition between true equals on the global stage. Now let us go back to that very first moment. Let us focus entirely on that one single word. Because when a meticulous craftsman of the game, an absolute obsessive of technical precision, chooses to say magic instead of dribbling, finishing, or sheer vision, he is revealing something massive without actually saying it out loud. What he is watching simply does not fit into any training manual, and magic is, by its very definition, something completely inexplicable. Zidane, a man who could easily analyze and explain almost any passage of play on earth, throws his hands up in front of Messi, completely surrendering to the inexplicable. Pay close attention to the subtle details here. He did not claim that Messi was simply the fastest on the pitch or the most skillful. He admitted that he was inexplicable. And the leader of the squad has to create, he has to do what you did, and the one thing that makes you so completely different from everyone else is that you see the play before everyone else does. The number 10 has to be able to do exactly that. I was only 1 single second ahead of the play, but you were 3 seconds ahead, 3 whole seconds before anyone else, while I was just 1. For me personally, that is the defining difference that sets you so far apart from everyone else. Because yes, the general public, even the other players on the pitch see exactly what needs to be done. Before you even touch the football, you already knew exactly what your next move was going to be, and for me, that is what a true number 10 must represent. The more a team player, a real leader of the squad does that, the better it is for the entire team, and that is exactly what you do out there. But there is another, even sharper, more telling revelation that Zidane almost let slip by casually during that very same conversation. freeze right on that specific sentence. Before even receiving the football, he already knew exactly what he was going to do. That is quite possibly the most accurate explanation I have ever heard in my entire life for why Messi is yet built completely different. It is not just that he runs faster than the rest of the players on the field, it is that he operates in an entirely different dimension of time, those famous 3 seconds ahead. While other players are busy receiving the ball, thinking, and then making a choice, Messi has already made his decision. While the ball is still traveling through the air, he has already executed the play in his mind. And that is not some mechanical technique you can practice. That is an innate reading of time and space that simply can't not be taught on any training pitch. This connects directly to a fundamental concept we have been looking at closely, something Robin had already explained perfectly in the past. Messi does not rely on flashy tricks, but that was never due to a lack of raw talent. It is actually just an extreme, ruthless level of pure efficiency. When Zidane points out that he already knows exactly what is going to happen before the ball even arrives, he is describing the mastermind, the very same player who, on his path to scoring over 900 career goals, still had to be the one dictating the entire tempo of the game right from the center circle, effortlessly combining the creative genius of a complete midfield maestro with the relentless, hungry goal-scoring instincts of an absolute historical legend. He does not waste a single movement because he already knows exactly where the play is going before it even exists. While other players are still trying to adjust themselves, Messi is already finishing the job. These unique players who are just completely different, which to me represents pure magic, absolute pure magic in the sense that before the ball ever arrived, you already knew what had to be done, and especially for someone like me who truly understands football, watching you on the pitch, I almost knew exactly what you were about to do, you know? Like some deep invisible connection, and when I see him do what he does on the pitch, I just say, that is it. At the end of the day, that is exactly what people want to see when they watch soccer. They want players who are truly rare, one-of-a-kind talents. Sure, there are great players out there, but almost none like him. Actually, there is only one. And in that very moment, Zidane did something that changed everything almost without meaning to. He started ranking players. When asked who could actually do what Messi does, he began by saying there are only a few. But then he quickly corrects himself and says very few, before completely giving up and surrendering to the truth. Well, he settles on just one. He went from some to absolutely none in a single sentence, right there in real time in front of the camera. Zidane suddenly realizes that there is no comparison at all. There is no list. There is only Lionel Messi, and then there is everyone else. Now, this is not the first time Zidane has handed out high praise to another player. Over the years, he has often spoken highly of exciting young talents. He openly acknowledged the sheer greatness of the Brazilian legend Ronaldo. But pay close attention to the small detail that changes everything. He never used the word magic to describe any of them. He never claimed there was no one like them. That specific word, that holy ground, was kept entirely for Messi alone. And honestly, let me tell you what I think about all of this. What really moved me here was not just the fact that Zidane was praising Messi, it was the way he did it. Remember, Zidane represented the absolute pinnacle of elegant, beautiful football. He was like a perfect on-pitch choreography. Yet, he openly admits that Messi played the game from a completely different place. It came from pure instinct, from the rugged streets, driven by a mind that sees the entire play 3 seconds before anyone else can even react. Zidane genuinely admires Messi for the exact things that he, despite all his legendary technique, could never quite replicate on the pitch. And just in case you had any lingering doubts that this was purely a gift from above, during this very conversation, both men completely agree on the immense sacrifice required behind the scenes. The magic they both speak of is also the direct result of a deeply focused, highly disciplined lifestyle. To me, that is the most brutally honest confession a true legend can make. Because no matter how much raw talent you possess, without consistency and hard training, that brilliance will fade away quickly. To truly reach the absolute top of the sport, you have to give everything you have and train at the highest level possible day in and day out. I really want you to think about this, because it is the one common thread among all the legends who talk about Messi. What makes him the greatest is not what he adds to the game. It is not about the flashy tricks or the cheeky nutmegs. It is about the fact that he has no flaws. It is pure football, stripped of all decoration. Zidane understood this in a single word. So now I want to ask you, what do you think was the absolute best moment where a football legend perfectly defined Messi? Let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Please share this video too because it helps out immensely. I will see you all in the next deep dive into honest football stories.